The Marvel Cinematic Universe is one of the biggest film franchises of all time. It hit the status a long time ago, but the fact it still persists over a decade after its creation is honestly astonishing. With more than 20 movies under its belt and a bunch of box office records, it has cemented itself as one of the best. Several A-list performers have been a part of this phenomenal journey and have without a doubt given their best. With the stunning storylines and tear-jerking, mind-blowing, and also utterly devastating moments, the world's mightiest superheroes carved a place in our hearts and minds. However, not every superhero remained on the right side, as there are many of them that became quite the opposite. Some of the biggest twists in Marvel Comics happen when a superhero becomes a villain, either due to a retcon, a third-party influence, or a mental breakdown. Many superheroes have at one point or another succumbed to a life of villainy. With that said, let's see our list of 10 Marvel superheroes that became supervillains.
Oh, hello. I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Pulverine. And let me tell you, he's got a nice pair of smooth criminals down under. Anyway,
there wasn't one soldier closer to Captain America during World War II than Bucky Barnes, essentially serving as Cap's teenage sidekick. The two soldiers went on many dangerous missions together that played a key role in defeating the Nazis. However, after the plane that killed Bucky exploded, Russian sailors rescued the amnesic teen, gave him a bionic arm, and transformed him into the Winter Soldier, a deadly assassin who worked in the shadows, quietly influencing some of the biggest events in Marvel's history. Recovered by the Soviets, Bucky was brainwashed to become the perfect assassin for shady government wet work and was turned into a ruthless killing machine. Only by using the power of the Cosmic Cube was Captain America able to reconnect with his friend again, but Bucky had a long road of guilt-filled recovery before he went back to being a good guy. Angel was never more than a founding member of the X-Men who was a B player in any other situation. However, he suffered from great tragedy when he lost his wings via amputation and went into a deep depression. It was during a crossover event called Mutant Massacre that Warren's wings were mutated by an evil mutant named Harpoon. Each wing was impaled, crucifixion style, and then later became infected and had to be amputated. Warren was devastated by this turn of events, and at his weakest moment, the hyper-powerful villain Apocalypse offered to restore his wings if Angel would serve as Death, one of his 4 horsemen, to which he agreed. His skin turned blue and his wings had razor tips, and he became a villain for the time. Like many of Marvel's hero-turned-villains, Cyclops has a complicated history. He was the Boy Scout, always following the rules, while Wolverine was the renegade, who would do anything to reach his goals. However, something happened over the years, and Wolverine became more loyal while Cyclops started to lose his grip as he watched senseless violence against mutants. First, Cyclops learns that Danger Room, the X-Mansion's high-tech training facility, is actually a sentient machine that Xavier kept captive for years. Next, Professor X admits that he played with Cyclops' mind, erasing all memories of Gabriel, Scott's younger brother. That's enough to make Cyclops question everything he knows, and before long, Scott is leading a covert Black Ops team and putting out hits on former allies like Mystique and Bishop. When the Phoenix Force invades, Cyclops loses control and kills Professor X outright, which ultimately leads to a full-on mutant revolution with Cyclops as its figurehead. The Dark Phoenix is without a doubt the best known X-Men story of all time. When Jean Grey joined the team in X-Men #1, she was little more than the token female. She spent most of her time doing chores, and she passed out when she used her telekinetic abilities to lift anything heavier than a chair. However, when Jean became possessed by a powerful cosmic entity known as the Phoenix Force, she gained untold power. As the Phoenix, she seemed a much more powerful ally of the X-Men, but when the Hellfire Club messed with her mind and unlocked abilities that Professor X had sealed away, the Dark Phoenix was born. She murdered millions of beings, and Jean ended up taking her own life before the Phoenix Force could drive her to more evil. The Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver were originally introduced as the villainous prodigies of Magneto, but the duo soon left the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants behind to join the Avengers. Having Magneto as a father is certainly a good excuse to have a moral compass painted in shades of grey. However, no amount of daddy issues can excuse committing genocide on one's own race. The moment that Scarlet Witch went from hero to villain was one of the most devastating moments in Marvel Comics history. Wanda had created children for herself and then lost them and had them wiped slipped from her mind. When she remembered, she went crazy. Wanda caused the death of Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Jack of Hearts, and stripped almost every mutant of their powers. She was the most powerful villain in the world during that time. Daredevil was one of the purest characters in the Marvel Universe. However, Shadowland changed all that, as Daredevil decided to become the leader of the Hand and believed he could protect the city from within. During a trip to Japan, Daredevil won control of the Hand Ninja Clan and returned to New York with his lethal new minions in tow. His first order of business was to erect a spanking new headquarters in the middle of Hell's Kitchen that he dubbed Shadowland, which also functioned as a prison for anyone he deemed a threat. His methods of apprehending the guilty grew harsh, he ran afoul of other superheroes, and he even killed his longtime adversary Bullseye. However, in the end, it turned out to be just the latest case of possessed by an evil entity. While the mainstream universe's Reed Richards is one of the greatest heroes to ever live, his Ultimate Universe counterpart is not so benevolent. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, founder of the Fantastic Four, and his arch-nemesis Victor Von Doom, aka Dr. Doom, were once friends and classmates. While in the main Marvel Universe, Reed Richards has remained vigilant, the Ultimate Marvel Universe's version of Reed was tested and broken. Taking the identifier of a mad scientist, Reed Richards became the main villain in the Ultimates, in which after returning from the negative zone, he became the Maker. This ultimate version of Reed is determined to advance his knowledge by conducting horrible experiments. Upon arriving in the mainstream Marvel world, the Maker creates an organization known as Whisper, built to aid him in his horrible experiments and evil plans. While Deadpool has been more a chaotic neutral for quite some time, there has been instances where he much prefers to indulge his darker urges. More often than not, Wade is found reeling or lashing out after some traumatic event or another. One example of this behavior happened when he turned his back on his heroic ways after the Secret Empire event. Blindly following Captain America is typically the way one might go when diving headfirst into a moral conflict wrought by uncertainty. However, it just so happens that this time was not the time to be siding with Captain. After losing some friends, his daughter's love and admiration, and the respect he had worked so hard to earn, Deadpool turns his back on his past and decides that killing Cable will be the first stop on his Breaking Bad tour of pain and violence. Back in the 40s, Marvel introduced Steve Rogers with Captain America, dressed in the Stars and Stripes, punching Adolf Hitler in the face. The cover of Captain America #1 established a foundation that lasted for over 75 years, establishing a hero that's tough, proactive, and resolutely anti-fascist. Over the years, Caps fought numerous villains and took on the United States government when it turned out that the president was secretly the leader of a crime cable known as the Secret Empire. During the Civil War storyline, Iron Man represented the authorities and Captain America operated outside of the law. However, in no way would Cap ever be considered a villain in that storyline. But Marvel then took it to the limit when they not only made him a villain in the Secret Empire, but also made him a Hydra sleeper agent, something that fans really did not approve. Though luckily it wasn't true, as Cap was under the control of Hydra Supreme. Seeing Captain America go from hero to villain was pretty shocking for most Marvel fans. Wolverine is one of the most recognized characters in the Marvel Universe, and like Superman, he's a character who has turned evil numerous times. However, he was always either influenced or under the control of a third party. For example, in the acclaimed Old Man Logan story arc, Wolverine kills a group of supervillains who attack the X-Mansion, but as it turns out, he was tricked by Mysterio into killing his fellow X-Men. Besides, there was the time Logan was killed by a trifecta of enemies, Hydra, the Hand, and Gorgon, but instead of leaving him dead, the Hand resurrected Logan as a weapon and used him to slaughter the X-Men. And lastly, during the X-Men Forever storyline, Wolverine was killed by Storm, who suspected Wolverine of turning evil. The reality is, even though Wolverine's intentions are always good, he's not someone who's easily controlled, and certainly not someone who is incorruptible.
Wolverine.
Thank you for checking this video out, and don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe for new videos every day. Turn that bell notification on and comment down below that you subscribed, and we'll make sure to reply and thank as many of you as we possibly can. Once again, thank you for watching and see you next time.